Okay, quick recap from last lesson. I've got my emulator running first before I start trying to build anything, so I know I've got it up and ready. I'm going to do that by pressing connect and then choosing emulator. If you have any problems with your emulator, press reset connection and press emulator again, it'll reload. So this is what we got up to last lesson. We had a press me button and text box and some code here that says set the speech rate to 0.5, actually because I want to make it a bit silly so I slow it down. Call text to speech and say what is ever in text box 1. So if I go over here and say hello, now remember you have to use this little on-screen keyboard, you can't use your real keyboard.
Hello.
Nice and slow, and I can be even sillier if I want to, and I can change that to 2
Hello.
and change it that way. So we're going to have a look at something different. Today's lesson, we're going to have a look at how we can make ourselves an excuse generator. So I'm a bit bored of students coming to my classroom constantly with the same excuse. So I have a program set up here on a different screen, and I have a button that says give me an excuse. So I go to my blocks, and here's my code. Now I've got a few different things going on over here. I've got an initialize global variable, and I've done that using this variable option here, so variables initialize a variable, and I've told it to generate a variable called excuse and then create an empty list. And then I said when the screen is initialized, so when I load this particular screen, add these items to the list global excuse. So I was late for the bus, it was raining, I got lost, I didn't know where my class was. Believe it or not, I've had that one, and the dog ate my homework. A classic. And then I have another bit of code here that says when button 1 is clicked, call text to speech and pick a random item from this list and get global excuse. But all my list options are in this button here that says list. So that's where my blue boxes are. So if I go over here and test this, press give me an excuse.
The dog ate my homework.
Press it again.
The dog ate my homework.
Same one. In random, same thing can happen more than once.
I was late for the bus.
There we are. Now, one important thing to note here is that this when screen 1 initialize will only work when I actually go to the screen. So if I change any code here, what I'd have to do is to go to screen 2, which I've created, and go back to screen 1. The alternative way, just for testing, would be to put this list in when I click the button, and then add this extra little bit of code that just resets the list. So every time I press the button, it creates an empty list and then repopulates it. Now in an actual program, that's a really bad idea because it's going to make your program much slower, but for testing, if you want, you can do that, and it just means that every time I make a change, it affects it. I don't have to kind of refresh the page. So you can pick whether you want to do it that way or whether we don't want to use this. We want to do it the proper way. I have our code there. There. And then we can get rid of that. Okay, off you go. Make this work. Apart from that, you can find a different list here of excuses. And I want you to add a few more. So to add a few more, we press this little blue button here, which is the modifier button. And we just drag another item into our list. So I want to add another item. And I get this other item here. And I can cheat because I can right click and I can duplicate. I can duplicate my box there and put in my next excuse. Alright, good luck, off you go.